This is the Transparency Podcast Show.
Went to school in Irvine and then moved here 2 years ago.
Wow, went to school in Irvine. Me too. Which high school? Is it high school or university?
Oh, I went to University of California, Irvine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because my high school is there, junior high. So I pretty much grew up from Irvine. Anyway, so how long have you been transitioning?
For about a year, a little over a year. June 17th was kind of my official day.
Right.
For
Congratulations. Yeah. So do you discover yourself maybe a little bit different prior to that year ago?
So I think for transitioning, there were a few moments I could look back in the past and think, oh, that makes sense. But I think for me, the tipping point was at the time I was just non-binary. When I did transition, I turned non-binary.
Yeah.
There was an incident in where there was this 40-year-old cis woman, a coworker. I work at a school,
right?
And she gets mad at me because I didn't let her on the elevator first.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is the 21st century. And she's like, but like, I'm a woman. You're supposed to treat me this way. And I was like, you know what? This whole gender thing is bullshit. So after that, I started to become non-binary. And then after that, I transitioned further into trans woman because I realized she, her pronouns were cool. And I was like, you know what? I actually like being a woman. So
cool. Awesome. Congratulations.
I'm also two-spirit. Like that's
two-spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay, cool. So you are you're local in Long Beach, and how do you feel like Long Beach City? Is it safe, friendly? You won't have any problem or some sort of confrontations?
I'd say Long Beach is pretty laid back in general. I feel like on the surface it seems more accepting, but I feel like when you get down to the nitty gritty at work, working as a substitute teacher at high schools, you see all the transphobia right up front in these kids, and in the administration. So I think that obviously
they need to fix that.
That can't be fixed unless the system that maintains all of this, the system that maintains the colonial oppression and capitalism and all of these things have to be abolished before any of that can truly be resolved.
So are you out at school when you teach, right?
Oh yeah, no,
then
I cannot be out.
Were you a teacher already before you transitioned in that same school?
Yeah, so I was a substitute teacher, and I transitioned over the summer basically.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And so that means that the teacher staff already knew you from before, and now do you feel they treat you very differently since?
I do feel a little different. Like when I was a guy, I felt like the other teachers, it was like, hey, what's up? And like being a substitute, there's already not that much respect from other teachers or the students.
Yeah.
But when you're trans, like the students just love to like use that against you, constantly being sirred and mistered. Like is the absolute worst. Being he'd. Sir is like the ugliest word in the dictionary.
Yes, I know. So how are those students, kids? What grade are you teaching?
Oh, I prefer high school because younger kids are just too much energy-wise.
Oh, okay.
They run around. They constantly chatter. All they do is chatter. At least high school kids, you can kind of reason with them a little bit. And they're more laid back. You don't have to police them constantly.
Right.
So that's why I prefer teenagers.
Okay. So do you have any student that they are, let's say, trans or even LGBTQ people?
I have I've had a few encounters with other trans students where they come up to me and they're like, "Oh, it's so nice to see a trans teacher," or they'll be like, or they'll just like be like, "Oh, it's so good to see a trans teacher," or you know, or often I'll stick up for the students because the other students will be terrible to me, and then the trans students will speak out about it. And I had an incident where one student he got violent and aggressive to the student for sticking up for me, and then I had to send that aggressive student up to the office because he was disrespecting me and he was threatening that student. So yeah.
Well, but I think that's very inspiring because you're doing this, and then your student is part of the community. I think you will shine some courage, inspiration on them. That's for sure.
And I'm also a grad student.
Yeah.
At Cal State Long Beach for a master's in linguistics.
Wow.
My hope is that I can use my research to contribute to the revitalization of my mother tongue. And it's a process that's been going on in El Salvador for a while. But right now there's only less than 200 native speakers. So and they're all between the ages of 60 and 80.
So I see. All right. So any last words? Anything you want to say to our audience, fans, and listeners?
I want to say that in terms of the whole concept of allyship, I don't think that allyship really exists. I think if you're going to want to be an ally, you don't be an ally, you be a comrade, you be an accomplice, you be out there you go out there on the field, the battlefield with us when we're out there fighting. And I mean and I don't just mean protesting peacefully, but I mean when shit gets real. Only then will I call you an ally. So you got to be down in the dirt with us. You can't just hold up a sign or put it on your bio, trans rights. You got to actually be about it. And that's the only time I would ever consider you an ally. And I consider you, if I do, then you'd be a comrade. And comrades are way more important than allies.
Yeah, the old saying, walk the talk, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right, thank you for coming on the show and doing this live little show for us. Please follow us on Transparency Podcast Show on IG, Facebook,